Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo Staten, a professional organizer specializing in chronic clutter. And today I have a little bit of a fun topic. So one of the, biggest questions I get when it comes to decluttering is like, where do I start? How long will it take, right? So decluttering in itself can seem incredibly overwhelming before we even begin. But there are quick wins that we can actually have around our homes to move the needle forward and achieve that clutter-free home that we all desire. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about 24 things to declutter in 2024 that you won't miss. So these are going to be quick and easy wins. I'm actually going to start from easy and then we'll move on to medium and kind of more challenging. And feel free if anything resonates with you, right? If there's an item where you're like, you know what, Margo, I can definitely do this right now. It speaks to me. It doesn't feel overwhelming. Then go ahead, run to the room or that cabinet and declutter that item for a quick win. Let's start off with number one. So for a quick win, head over to your pantry. If you are especially someone who struggles to let go of any items, whether you're the sentimentalist personality type or you find yourself holding on to items for just in case. Decluttering items in your pantry is super easy. Focus on things that have an expiration date, right? These are easy tosses or recyclables. I don't know. Is it recyclable? I don't think recyclables is a word, but you get what I'm saying. So a quick and easy win is just to find a few of those expired pantry items or maybe a bag of chips that's open and that you're not going to eat. So super quick and easy win. Now, this next item is dying to be recycled. So get rid of your old magazines. Those monthly subscriptions of Good Housekeeping or whatnot from 5 years ago pile up. The chances of you needing them are slim to none. And if there is something of serious value on a page, then just rip out the page and keep the page and recycle the magazine itself. For item number 3, head over to your closet. Do it now. I will wait. And get rid of, super quick, super easy, get rid of broken hangers. Why are you still holding on to them? It's not like you actually hang any clothing. It's just in there, probably annoying you every time you open your closet, but you just haven't gotten around to getting rid of it. So toss those broken hangers. While you're still amidst the wardrobe gear, number 4, do a quick search of your sock drawer. If it doesn't have a pair, don't wait for the pair to appear. It probably won't. Toss the old socks and the ones that don't have a buddy to hang out with. Number 5, so this one I used to hold on to for no reason at all, and it's declutter the burnt out candles and lids. They are not decorative pieces. They are clutter. I know somebody had to tell me this as well. Before I ventured onto my decluttering journey, I held on to my favorite candles as if they were some kind of decorative pieces on my bookshelves, and they're not. It felt incredibly liberating to finally get rid of them all. Next up are numbers 6, 7, and 8. When it comes to all things making us beautiful, toss dry and used up nail polishes, eyeshadow colors that you won't dare wear, and dried up mascara. I don't know. Let me know. Have you been holding on to tubes of dried up mascara for just in case purposes? I know I've been guilty of this one as well. Now let's move on to intermediate things that you can toss. Number 9, your mugs. How many mugs do you need? How many? I mean, maybe 2 per person in the household. How many do you currently have? Be honest. Let me know. How many do you currently have? Declutter some. It's okay. Let it go. Your cabinet space will thank you. If you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you'll probably know that I used to have a serious mug collection obsession. One of my favorite stores does happen to be Home Goods, and I don't know what it was. I would see a mug and it would literally speak to me. I would feel excited at the prospect of owning a mug. And then I would bring it home, and I'm incredibly particular about what mug I use for coffee. And Full transparency, I'd have like 9 mugs and I would never drink out of them. So yes, hold on to one for like guests or whatnot. But in general, why one person needed 10 mugs was beyond me. So since then, I've cut down my collection to just 2. Okay, while still being in the kitchen, go through your Tupperware. If it does not have a lid, if it looks past its prime, you know, that kind of container you kind of gift to your kids to do with as they please, those can be kissed goodbye. Next, chipped or broken dishes. I know you love the beautiful china, but if it's broken and you never put it out, why keep it? It's hard to let go for sure, but it's no longer serving you. Number 12, this item can have sentimental value and probably a ton of grease on it. You might need to sit down. Unless you're in the car in rush hour, then keep on listening. Recycle your cookbooks. There was a time when it was a trend to display cookbooks on our countertops. Cookbooks, most of us only kept for aesthetic reasons and never actually opened. If you have cookbooks you love, then keep them. If you are that person, that minority of folks that actually display cookbooks that you use on a weekly basis, by the way, that's fantastic, then absolutely keep them. Then there is nothing to declutter here. But if you are the person who has cookbooks and you don't use them and get all of your recipes from TikTok, then I give you permission to declutter them right now. Number 13, go through your cleaning supplies. Sometimes we buy stuff and it doesn't actually work for our home. So we dump it into the junk drawer underneath our kitchen sink and try to forget about it. It's there though. It's there. Declutter it. Number 14, beauty and hair products. So I know you spent a ton on that facial cream that makes you itchy. Maybe one day it won't. That day won't come. That hairspray that you bought or gel, or the many bottles of dry shampoo that continue to keep your hair looking oily, you're never going to use that again. You're just not. But we have this like weird attachment to hair and beauty products. And it's really one of those in case of emergency. Yet we find ourselves holding on to these products that have probably expired and that emergency just never comes. So, take a quick peek into your hair products and beauty products. And, if you haven't used it, if you're not going to use it, if you don't love it, if it's brand new, you can always gift it to a friend or family member, but otherwise let it go. Next up, go through your craft supplies. So I personally do not indulge, but I do have several clients whose craft spaces get out of hand. So go through your stuff and only keep what you need. All right, I hope thus far some of these have resonated and this list has inspired you to at least get rid of 1 to 2 items. So now we're venturing into the harder category. So number 17, brace yourselves. Clothing that does not fit. Now is the time to unburden yourself from the workout gear you bought 5 years ago, the jeans that are 2 sizes too small, and the shirts that don't flatter you at all. You want to only keep feel-good clothing. You want to keep the items that fit you and most importantly, fit your lifestyle. A lot of times, and I'm not going to go too much off on a tangent, but a lot of times we hold on to items for our fantasy self or the person we used to be. And it's kind of very, very challenging to declutter some of these beloved items. But if you're not wearing them and if all they're doing is taking up space in your closet or bringing up toxic memories or making you feel crappy, they don't deserve to be in your space. Get rid of them. On that same note, if you are somebody who has a ton of wardrobe clutter and you're really committed to decluttering your clothing and downsizing and maybe even practicing a little bit of wardrobe capsules, I have an entire course dedicated walking you from A to Z, how to declutter, how to clean, how to organize, and maintain your clutter-free wardrobe. It's a very short video series, but super impactful. And it comes with a workbook for all of you that like to take notes and monitor your progress. I'll leave a link to it in the show notes. All right, number 18, outgrown kids' toys. And it's actually best if you do it with your kids. Now, with that said, can you do it behind your kid's back? Absolutely. So my daughter's actually pretty good at decluttering her own toys. We do donate a lot, and I've kind of built this habit in her since she was a toddler. She has minimal toy clutter, but yet there are some things where she'll be like, oh, mom, I'm not playing with this right now. And we'll kind of put it away. And then, I, of course, will be tempted to like declutter it right away. But she's like, no, I still want to hold on to it. And I kind of respect that. And like, look, don't tell her. But there are times where if she hasn't asked for it for like 3 months, I'm just going to go ahead and make that decision for her and declutter it. So go through your kids' toys. If they're too little, then obviously make the decisions for them. It really does benefit them if you do it with them. I know that sometimes it can be challenging because a lot of times kids are very reluctant to let go of their things. But I think that starting and building a habit with our children when they're young, right? Teaching them about what decluttering is. And I think to myself, like, my mom had never taught me about decluttering. And I'm like, ooh, I wish she had, right? And this is why I do it with my daughter. So declutter your kids' old toys. Number 19, paperwork, bills, taxes, etc. So you want to always double check with your accountant before shredding anything. But I know that a lot of times, a lot of my clients have accrued a ton of paperwork clutter. Paperwork clutter, if it gets out of hand, it is so challenging to get rid of. Like, you can spend months on decluttering paperwork and you still don't feel like you made a dent in the overwhelming pile of paperwork. So take a few minutes, declutter some of the easy paperwork stuff. Number 21 is workout equipment. And now see, this one is tough because you probably spent a ton of money on it and it's currently staring at you in the bedroom crying, why don't you love me? And the truth is, because exercising sucks. Also, just a side note, never keep your exercise gear in the bedroom. It's actually distracting and can impact your sleeping habits. Evaluate whether or not you will ever use it, or maybe you are somebody like me who prefers to exercise at home by simply watching Zumba YouTube videos. Then, if you did invest money into the exercise equipment and if it's still in good quality, you can always sell it on eBay or something, or gift it to a neighbor. Number 22 are old textbooks. So there is something about old college textbooks. I don't know if it's like the sentimental part of us that just can't seem to part with the old life. Chances are those textbooks are also out of date. Now, I know they were super expensive to purchase, but the truth is the money has already been spent. Like 30 years ago. So it's time that you let them go. Number 23 are CDs and DVDs. And I get it. There is a certain level of nostalgia that comes with holding on to these things. Especially if you're like me, maybe you have a few VHSs on hand as well. It's funny, recently my daughter was talking to me about CDs and she was like, Mommy, what's that? So I went through like a whole thing and I'm like, oh, and before CDs, there was VHS tapes. And she just looked at me like, what? And I tried to explain it to her, like what a VCR is and VHS tapes. And she was just like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, okay, moving on. So hold on to a few of the items that maybe they have nostalgic value to them. But in general, if you have a CD, DVD, VHS collection, then, go through them and declutter what you don't need. And then finally, take a good look at those kitchen appliances. Girl, that bullet that someone gifted you for Christmas, the one that's still in the box because you're waiting for inspiration to make yourself that kale smoothie. Keep it real. Do you need all those kitchen appliances that you have nowhere to put? Probably not. So that is my list of 24 things to declutter in 2024. I do hope you found some value. I do hope that you had an aha moment and maybe even while you were listening to this, decluttered something. As always, thank you so much for listening. Good luck on your decluttering journey and remember to be good to yourself.